my left is Staff Inspector Bryce Evans from the Toronto Police Financial Crimes Unit, and he will be updating me in regards to ATM skimming investigation. And I'll turn the podium over to Staff Inspector Bryce Evans.
Okay, thanks very much for coming out. Really appreciate you helping us out here. A core function of policing duties is the delivery of crime prevention programs and public awareness messaging. I want to personally thank the media today for assisting the Toronto Police Financial Crimes Unit today in delivering of a public message involving ATM skimming devices that have been seized from ATM machines located within hospitals. Since late November, the armed guards who service the majority of the ATM machines located within the hospitals has seized skimming devices that have been affixed to the actual ATM machines. Skimming devices have been seized from the following eight hospitals: Sick Kids Hospital, Scarborough General, North York General, Oakville Trafalgar Memorial, Lake Ridge Health, Bowmanville, Southway Health Center in Newmarket, Toronto East, and Toronto West. The last two skimming devices, which will be on display today, have been seized from the Toronto East and Toronto West Hospital this past Wednesday on April the 11th. We believe that the hospitals are being targeted because of the high volume of pedestrian traffic and the fact that the ATM machines are located within open common areas. We do not presently have any suspects. However, the office is now reviewing hospital security cameras to assist us in identifying suspects involved. In the past several days, members of the Financial Crimes Unit have attended hospitals and met with the security administrators to give updates and educational lessons on how to identify skimming devices. With the advancement of technology, we have witnessed an increase of organized crime groups being involved in financial related crimes. Recent skimming devices that have been seized from a variety of ATM machines throughout the GTA have shown that the criminal element has manufactured the devices to snap on or over the existing ATM machines, leaving the impression that the device is part of the actual machine. On the Financial Crimes webpage, we have posted 12 tips on how to help yourself from being a victim of ATM theft. A copy, as you'll notice, was available to you. It's also sitting on the table over there. However, the best method of protection is to cup your hand closely over the keypad to block any device from capturing your PIN number as you enter it onto the keypad. Detective Ian Nickel, who is a member of the Financial Crimes Office, is the expert in regards to skimming devices. He will now speak to you about the actual skimming devices and how they operate. Okay.
These are two of the devices that we seized recently. In both cases, these devices both contain a card reader device as well as a pinhole camera. The bottom of the device, you won't be able to notice it from the cameras. There's a very small hole which contains the pinhole camera. The device is affixed above and to the right of the pin pad on these devices, which enables the camera to capture the image of your personal identification number being entered. In this particular case, if you were to shield your PIN as you're entering it, you would be protected. These devices also, they refer to them as 2-in-1s because they contain both the card data as well as the pinhole video. So in previous cases, it was our experience that there would be a camera positioned somewhere above the PIN pad, and then a separate card reader device would be attached over the card reader. These days, in most cases now, we're finding that it's all one device, as you can see here. As far as the technology goes, these are two of the better rigs that I've seen, just in terms of the way that it's been put together. Really, they know what they're doing. That's all I have for you, unless anybody's got any questions.
Does it send information that it captures somewhere, or it's stored and they have to come?
These particular devices, you have to retrieve them. There are some cases, such as the point-of-sale terminals, where they can remotely transmit. They can transmit to a remote location, whether it's Bluetooth, wireless, cellular technology. In these cases, you have to retrieve the device, and they'll typically be left on for an hour or 2 hours, but they can be left on for longer. They're limited by the size of the video card that's inside in terms of their ability to record video for a period of time, and they're also limited by their battery power. In the the case of point of sale terminals, you don't have those restrictions because the power is provided for moving the device itself.
So you got a pretty good chance of catching these guys, because the window that thing would have been attached to the machine is pretty narrow, correct?
Well, certainly, it's our hope that they'll appear on video. Now, sometimes they take steps to, to conceal their identity. Sometimes you'll have someone blocking, they'll pull a hat down, that sort of thing. It really depends on the quality of the video and how much precautions these people have taken in order to conceal themselves.
Detective, you usually think hospitals are safe places where there's a lot of security. So how are these suspects able to go in, alter the machine, go back, pick up the equipment, like, without someone seeing them?
Well, I mean, you say alter the machine, but in reality, if you look at these closely, you'll see there's double-sided tape. It's not really complicated. All you do is you have to walk up and place the device right over top of the card reader. I mean, we've been on surveillance on these types of installations where in the middle of an afternoon at a busy spot, and the installations occurred right in front of us. And we noticed because we were watching, but other people didn't notice quite clearly. They didn't notice. It's not hard to do.
Just talk about some of the victims. I mean, these are people who are going to visit
Well,
their loved ones or their friends. Or
It's a lowly offense at the best of times. Clearly, when people are going to a hospital, they have other things to worry about other than their financial security. So in this particular case, it's definitely a lowly thing to do. The banks are the ones who ultimately will take the hit financially for this, but certainly these people will be inconvenienced. Typically, your financial transactions will be cleared up in a matter of weeks when the financial institutions figure out that this is taking place, and they always do. Nonetheless, it's quite disconcerting when you open up your bank statement and find out you have no money when you thought you had some.
Are these the same sort of skimming devices that you find at gas stations, pay at the pump things, perhaps?
They're similar. Every device is different. The type of device that's utilized depends on the type of machine that is being used. Every single type of machine has the potential to be compromised. Some are easier than others. It depends on a number of factors. It depends on how visible the machine is, the type of security around it, the environment that it's in, and in some cases the physical design of the machine. Some of them, the shapes and the bridges and so on make it very difficult to perform an installation. As you can see with these devices, they're rectangular. There's not a lot of complexity to the shape, so it's not that difficult to create a mold and then simply make the device a little bit bigger than the actual one that sits on the machine, and you just paste it over.
Do you have any information to suggest that these 8 hospitals, like the suspects, are related, based on what you found as far as the device they've?
Certainly, based on the similarity of the devices that have been seized, I would suspect so, but we haven't concluded that yet.
So why just hospitals, or do you think maybe they're just?
Well, that's the thing that I was going to point out is these types of machines don't just appear in hospitals. We know that hospitals are being targeted probably for the reasons that Staff Inspector Evans has suggested, is that they're busy places, there's a lot of foot traffic, and so the machines are going to be well used. Therefore, your likelihood of obtaining profit from this type of activity is higher. You'll find these types of machines, though, in variety stores, in restaurants, in bars. They're what we refer to as a white label machine. They're not affiliated with any particular financial institution. They're everywhere. They're throughout the city.
So how many victims do you expect there?
It really, I can't tell you based on just these 2 devices and the other ones we seized. It really depends on how much they're used. How many people can use a bank machine in a busy area over a period of 2 hours? If it was left on for 2 hours and 100 people used it, then there will be 100 victims. Now, with that said, the financial institutions are getting better and better at detecting the usage or the usage of data associated with the installation of these devices, and quite often only a number of cards are utilized before the financial institutions catch on and they shut down the cards. That said, anybody who used the machine during that period will have their card blocked. And if you happen to be on vacation somewhere, and that's when they decide to block it, then that's when you're inconvenienced.
And how long have these devices been put there?
I'm sorry?
How long have these devices been put there?
These particular devices, how long were they on for? Well, they were discovered by security when the machine was being serviced, so I'm not really sure in this case how long they were left on for. It could well be that the device was discovered and the culprits then left, and it could have been left on for a period of several hours, or it could have been left on for a very short period. I don't know.
Detective, you talk about 8 GTA hospitals, but can you put this in perspective? And from the point of view of Toronto Police, how many of machines in Toronto like right now, would you say have tampering devices?
I couldn't answer that question, but what I would say is we know of 8 installations that have occurred. It would be foolish for us to presume that we got every single one of them. In fact, I believe we didn't. So that's why we're here telling you guys about this, because clearly the hospitals are being targeted for all the reasons that we've stipulated. I can't really estimate how many have been installed and how many are installed right now, but this happens every day, not just in Toronto, but across the country.
You found one skimming device in each of those 8 hospitals, or?
Yes, I didn't find them, we didn't find them, they were found by hospital security.
Okay, and is there any similarities between these hospitals, i.e. the ATMs being very close to the front entrance, or?
Frankly, I don't know. Typically, these are not hard installations to perform. You can walk into a very busy area under the view of security and other citizens, and by simply shielding what you're doing, you'll typically see a 2-person installation where 1 person stands behind and blocks the view of onlookers. So these can be done in a very busy spot without anybody noticing.
But Detective, are you finding these every day, like your department, financial crimes, could you be spending all your time on this?
We're not usually out looking for them. I mean, typically,
Right.